Hello, and welcome to our podcast, The Big Three. My name is Garrett Wright, alongside my co-host,
Jacob Conde, and we are going to focus on the MLB, the NBA, and the NFL on this podcast regularly. We're going to try to bring you a show once a week, and depending, based on the schedule of the NFL, NBA, and MLB, that's how we will schedule our show around.
Yeah, with it being the MLB offseason, we're probably not going to touch on too many things MLB-wise unless there's some free agent talk. We'll definitely get in on that. But right now, with NBA in full swing and the NFL also in full swing, them going into the playoffs, we're definitely going to cover some of those games.
For sure. And today is December 1st, 2017. Last night, the Dallas Cowboys just took on the Washington Redskins, and for those of you just listening, we, myself and Garrett are from Dallas, Texas. He is my cousin, and we're going to get a lot of Dallas sports here on this podcast, but we're going to cover all three major sports as well.
Yeah, for sure. We're out of UTA. We both attend UTA. I'm a freshman. My cousin is a junior, and here we go.
Let's jump right into it, man. So last night, the Dallas Cowboys beat the Washington Redskins 38-17. 14. Wow, yeah, 38-14. I was giving Kirk Cousins a little bit too much credit right there. Garrett, what are some of your outstanding points from the game that you saw from the Dallas Cowboys?
Absolutely the defense. The defense definitely jumped right in, got those turnovers, the one fumble, the two interceptions, which weren't really on Kirk Cousins, but at the end of the day, still got them.
Both of them were tipped into a defender's hands.
Gave the offense a chance to get down the field, which we haven't been able to do lately due to Dak Prescott. Really, his throwing ability has been shown here where he's not really able to throw down the field as accurate as we once thought. The offense relies heavily on the short passes in the running game, and last night we got that going. The running game, 127 yards from Alfred Morris, a touchdown, and also a touchdown from Rod Smith, made it a lot easier on Dak Prescott.
100% agree. The offensive line jumped out to me last night, man, because they haven't really been playing like that dominant offensive line that we've seen because they're short.
Yeah, that sounds.
We're short Doug Free, and we are short Ronald Leary. Ronald Leary went to Denver, so that means we had to replace them with Lyle Collins
and Jonathan Cooper.
And Jonathan Cooper are our new offensive linemen, and they haven't done great all season. They just started to pick it up last night.
Lyle Collins, I noticed last night, definitely got Ryan Kerrigan in a hole.
And Ryan Kerrigan, probably besides Josh Norman, is the best defender on the Washington Redskins team all around. So to see them dominated again, and like you said, Alfred Morris went off, Rod Smith had a decent game, and Dak Prescott was protected. He wasn't getting hit from his blind side because, of course, the best left tackle in the game, Tyron Smith, was there. And another key player on defense that popped out to me was Kayvon Frazier for the safety.
Yeah, he got some big plays in there. A couple key tackles. Really just showed his athleticism on the field.
How about Tank Lawrence and David Irving? What do you think about them, how they bounced back from their game last night?
Tank Lawrence, all season long, has just dominated offensive lines. He's really quick. He's really fast. The hands, that's another big thing about him. He has good swim move, good under move.
Undercut for sure. And David Irving, he is my avatar, man. If I had to give him a nickname, he's an avatar, because if I had to build a defensive player like in Madden, David Irving would be my defensive lineman. He's so tall. He's so long. He gets up there. He blocks kicks for us. He blocked Kirk Cousins' pass that ended up in an Anthony Brown interception. And we're not giving enough credit to Chidobe Awuzie, the rookie who started last night. He's been hurt all year with hamstrings. He comes into the game last night and really impacted the game.
Yeah, just he's what the Cowboys were looking for when they drafted him. I know he hasn't really gotten the chances due to the injury, but I know all offseason Jason Garrett really had a lot of confidence in the guy, and reasonably so. Last night, he just shut that left side. He just shut it down.
Okay, well, those are a few highlights of the game. How about some negatives? Are there any that you saw after a 38-14 blowout? Are there any negatives in the game?
Well, like I said, Dak Prescott throwing deep down the field. Now, he did have that hand injury, so I'm not sure if that had something to do with it.
Well, I will say,
through the four-game skid, he hasn't been able to throw down the field.
And you said the hand injury. I'm not going to give him a pass on that because before he hurt his hand, he had 28 yards of passing, and that is unacceptable, especially because he got hurt 3 minutes before halftime. So that means he went first quarter and a lot of the second quarter with a non-injured hand, and he still only had 28 yards passing. But it's almost like when he came back from the locker room, I don't know if they shot him up with something or he was on something to where pain wasn't really affecting him, and his hand was swollen as they showed on the TV broadcast. But it was interesting to see him actually get better as the game progressed, even though his hand was injured, like you brought up.
If we could go back to some positives about that game, once again, the defense only allowed 56 rushing yards total. P. Ryan, the leading back, 12 carries, 38 yards. Only averaged 3.2 yards per carry.
He is a rookie, though, P. Ryan. Not forget that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, 56 yards as a team, I mean, that's not great.
Especially with no Sean Lee.
Yeah. That's also
Anthony Hitchens, my MVP of the game last night. I will give him that because he was sideline to sideline, making arm tackles, tripping up people's by the ankle, and he was tired all night long, but he was running sideline to sideline, never quit.
They definitely looked like last year's Cowboys were great against the run, all right against the pass, but last night it showed that when we have Cheeto in, we have Jordan Lewis in, and when we have Anthony Brown in, I mean, it's not a bad secondary. The only place
they're just very young.
The only place that they could improve is safety. Get Jeff Heath out of there.
He had an interception last night.
It's tipped into his hands.
Well, I like to see him show out. He actually got the start. Him and Xavier Woods. Byron Jones actually came off the bench, as did Anthony Brown. Yeah. But the defense showed out, man. They held the Washington Redskins to only 14 points, and Kirk Cousins statistically went off. He had almost 300 yards passing with 2 interceptions, but before the 2 interceptions, neither one of them were his fault. Yeah. So I don't really blame him on that. I will give credit to the defense because they helped us out when Dak Prescott started the game with 4 3-and-outs in a row.
When you think about Ryan Switzer, what he was able to do last night, do you think he earned his spot at punt returner, or do you think?
Well, it was already his spot, but he wasn't showing out like everyone expected him to. But last night, he proved that's his job for the rest of the season and probably for the next 3 years.
You think that's his spot now?
He's not going anywhere. He's going to be returning kicks and returning punts as long as he's healthy. And that's funny because he was actually not supposed to play yesterday's game, but he came in and he was a huge impact, scoring a touchdown for the offense and helping us out when Dak Prescott was struggling. So that's a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys. How about we move on? But we'll stay in the NFC East. Let's go to the New York Football Giants. I'll let you explain what we're about to talk about next.
All right. So if you haven't heard, the Giants have decided to sit Eli Manning, thus ending his streak of 210 straight games. Only, second or third behind Brett Favre?
Yes, sir. They call him the rookie Iron Man, or the junior Iron Man, as you could say, because Brett Favre has that title first. Eli Manning is the second to do that. It start the most consecutive games in a row.
So when you heard the news, what were you thinking?
I was thinking how embarrassing for a 2-time NFL Super Bowl MVP to be benched for one Geno Smith.
Do you put that on him, or do you put that on the coach?
I blame Ben McAdoo. I understand Eli has not been performing up to Eli that we've used to seeing over the past couple years.
Up to Ben McAdoo standards.
But Eli has been regressing each year, I will say that. But so has this New York Football Giants team. Without Odell Beckham, without Brandon Marshall, never had a running game, never had an offensive line. So I don't understand what they're expecting out of Eli Manning, especially on a 2-9 season. You got to let this guy just play the season out. You're gonna lose games. Let Eli play. He's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, and just because of the 2 Super Bowl rings, and he beat the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. So it's embarrassing, man. But I do understand their team tanking. They want to see Geno Smith. I don't know what they want to see from him. And they want to see Davis Webb, their 3rd-round pick out of Cal Berkeley.
So when you think about how the Giants go forward next year, how do you see them playing next year? Possibly no Eli, no Ben McAdoo, but they do get a lot of those defensive players back that have been out these past couple games. They get Odell Beckham back. No Brandon Marshall. I believe he's retiring.
As he should.
Yeah. But Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram have been, the lone bright spot for this offense. They've definitely been open. Evan Ingram, one of the fastest tight ends in the game, definitely has great hands. Sterling Shepard, great route runner. So where do you see this team next year?
It's funny, man. They have all the weapons. They just don't have a guy to get them the ball. Basically, when you sit Eli Manning, you're basically telling me we're getting ready to rebuild. We don't have a quarterback in system yet. That's what they're trying to figure out. They're probably gonna have to draft somebody this year, which means they want to be top 3 pick. They want to get USC from Sam Darnold from USC or Josh Rosen from UCLA. One of those quarterbacks is going to be gone. Both of those quarterbacks will go top 5 for sure. So I don't know who they're going to draft. I don't know if they're going to trust Davis Webb next year, or that's why they're taking these last 4 games to look at him. But it is smart, man. They're just basically admitting, hey, we don't have a quarterback for the next 5 years yet. We're going to try to see if we can find one, luckily, and maybe, who knows, maybe Davis Webb could be something like a Dak Prescott. Just manage the game, rely on that badass defense with Janoris Jenkins and all that crew and the safety, Landon Collins. I really like him. So it'll be interesting to see what they do next year, but they're basically just rebuilding for the next 2 or 3 years.
So when you think about Odell Beckham and his career, do you think the quarterback choice for next year has something to do with him staying in New York?
It definitely does. If they continue to go with Geno Smith or Davis Webb, I can see Odell Beckham being upset with that and not wanting to come back, and maybe causing some trouble for the Giants, wanting to be traded somewhere. Cause them a little bit of team chemistry problems. What do you see?
Because he is in his contract year. They turned down his request for a contract extension. They told him he needed to show out. They told him he needed to keep playing. And
do you not agree with that? I agree with that. They're telling me.
I do to some extent, but I mean, with the way he's played the past 2 years, do you not think he's earned an extension?
Yeah. See, you and I see Odell Beckham very differently. You think he matters a lot. I think he matters very little if no one can get him the ball. Just the same way Dez Bryant matters very little to the Dallas Cowboys.
But when you think about the Giants, when Odell is out, they have no offense.
They won their first game this year without Odell Beckham. Let's not forget that.
Right, and then they went on a 8-game losing streak.
Sure, but then you're telling me that he matters so much that they have to. The only way they can win is with him on the field. They proved that wrong. So for everyone that says Odell Beckham matters and without them they're nothing, that's not true. It's a team sport game. One player doesn't have that impact.
Nothing, but their offense is certainly less powerful with
it is, but so is every other offense without the number 1 receiver. But it's winnable. Just like if you take out Antonio Brown from the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're probably still going to hand off to Le'Veon Bell, give the ball to
Martavis
Bryant and Juju Smith-Schuster. So that will really impact. I'm just saying, I don't think the number 1 receiver has as much impact on the game as we think. Because look at Atlanta when Julio's struggling, when he's not. When he's going off, right, their offense is a lot better. When he's not, or when he is struggling, they still win ball games last year, especially. They proved that on their Super Bowl run.
Okay, well.
How about we move on from that? Let's go to up north in Cleveland. We're going to stick up north. Let's go to Cleveland. Who's coming back this week?
So right now, their receivers, looking at Corey Coleman. He's probably their best receiver on the team, but they do get Josh Gordon back this week. And
for those of you who do not know who Josh Gordon is, he played in the league 3 years ago. That's the last time he has played an NFL snap. Explain why, Garrett.
Due to some suspensions for marijuana use, solely marijuana use at that. But it's kind of a sad story. He admitted to, he allegedly played before or got high and drunk before games.
There's no allegedly. He definitely did do that. So this is a man who has played NFL games, high, drunk, sometimes both, and he dominated the last time he was on the field. The reason he gets kicked off is because the NFL does not allow those substances in the league. So you cannot just come out and say, yeah, I've dominated this league while I'm drunk, while I'm high. But he's still going to get an opportunity this week with Cleveland against the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, so when you think about how dominant he is.
Or he was. We don't know. Yeah, you can't say he is.
He was, yeah. While he was, under the influence, I mean, can you imagine what he'd be like?
A sober Josh Gordon is really, it blows my mind, man, how I think an athlete can perform like that, right? When you're playing against the best athletes in the world on a football field, and you still dominate 2 seasons, I will say, with no quarterback. Let's not forget that. He never has had a quarterback, and it's Cleveland. So when he comes back after 3 years and he's still probably going to be the best athlete on this team, that tells you a little bit about how bad Cleveland is running their organization. When a guy can take off 3 seasons of football, come back, and still be your probably most dominant weapon on offense.
Yeah, so the only downside of this is the fact that he has missed 3 years, which means, I mean, no matter how hard
In any sport.
You train. You're not going to be in game shape. You're not in game shape unless you're playing in the game, unless you're training with your team, with your trainers. I mean, it's a hard sport to play, especially when you've been out for 3 years. So when he comes back, do you think stamina will be an issue?
It'll be a huge issue, man. Especially he has said that he has been sober, But if say that's a false lie, then that will show itself on the field. If he has been smoking marijuana, if he has been drinking a lot, it will be evident as soon as he gets on the field and plays an NFL game against the best athletes in the world. So let's actually, speaking of that, you brought up a good point. Stamina and what happens when you do not play NFL football. Let's go back to Ezekiel Elliott, the Dallas Cowboys running back. He was supposed to come back on Saturday, December, or which is that a Sunday?
Week 16 against the Oakland Raiders.
Christmas Eve. No, actually, Christmas Eve against Seattle. That's when he comes back. Yes. Okay. So I was thinking Saturday is Christmas Eve. Sunday is Christmas Eve, which makes Monday morning Christmas. Can't wait for that. But let's look at what do you think Ezekiel Elliott will come back as. So we have a game against the Giants in 10 days from now. We have a game against Oakland a week after that. And then one following week, that's when we get our boy Ezekiel Elliott back. How do you think he's going to look that first game back?
In terms of Ezekiel Elliott just being the athlete that he is, stamina-wise, he's definitely going to have some problems. He's going to be.
Now he says he's been training and stuff. Do you think that's going to help him at all?
I think he's been training, but not to the extent of which he probably needs to be. But all we can do is wait and see.
I think he's going to come back, like you said. A little bit slower.
We also might see a little bit more Alfred Morris in that game.
Yeah, of course, because he's been carrying the load while Smith has been suspended. Not Smith, Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended. So when he comes back, I think against Seattle, we're going to have to rely on him to even win that game. It's going to be interesting to see if we're 2 games back, 1 game back. If we do lose to New York Giants, I say you tank. There's no reason to even bring Ezekiel Elliott back. I say you let him rest and let Alfred Morris.
For my fantasy team, so
bring
him back. Bring him back.
No. But say we beat the Giants, say we beat Oakland, that Christmas Eve game is going to be so important to us that Zeke has to be ready to play balls to the wall.
Oh, absolutely. If that defense can play the way that they did yesterday, if they can keep that up, we can definitely stay in these games without him. And once he gets back, that offense will get its life back. It gets the blood that it needs.
Yeah, I agree, man. Now I can't wait to see him. Our offense for the first 3 weeks without him has not looked good at all. We can't even score more than 10 points. Last night they proved that they can score more than 10 points with Ezekiel Elliott, let alone it was against the Washington Redskins. But we'll see. We get the New York Giants next week. We get Oakland. Let Dak Prescott, Des Bryant, and the defense prove that they can win a few games without Zeke and let Zeke come back 100% and healthy. And I can't wait to see what he does. So, man, let's break up the little sports talk right now. I know this is called The Big Three. This is the podcast. But let's go to a little bit of Gots to Go. You want to set that up for our viewers?
All right, so in Gots to Go, we take 3 or 4 things. It can be anything, any type of thing, any, movie, person, candy, whatever.
Any category.
And we basically figure out which one
we least like and which ones we kind of power rank them in a sense, but one of them has to go for the rest of your life, hypothetically. So I'll set this one up, man. I'll start with the 4 rappers that you have to choose from. Let's go with Drake. Let's go with Lil Yachty.
Okay.
Let's go with Lil Wayne.
Okay.
And let's go with Quavo. Out of these 4 rappers, Garrett, you choose which 3 you are keeping for the rest of your life, you're listening to, and which one you will never listen to for the rest of your life. Go.
All right, so hands down, Lil Wayne, greatest rapper of all time, number 1.
Ooh, I love that dude, but I can't put him at number 1, but continue.
Drake, definitely in the top 5, so gotta keep my man Drake in there.
Yeah, so it comes down to Quavo.
And Lil Yachty.
Ooh, Lil Bo. What do you think on that?
As a Lil Yachty fan, I can't throw that man away. But when you get Quavo,
don't you dare say you're getting rid of Quavo, dude. I knew this was gonna be tough for you. This is why I picked this because I know you're a huge Lil Yachty fan, but Quavo speaks for himself, dude.
Take off, almost equivalent to Quavo. Don't at me.
Sorry, I almost threw up a little bit, but I like Takeoff. I like Offset, but neither one of them can hold Quavo's jockstrap.
Offset can definitely.
He can't hold his
match
jockstrap. He
Yes.
cannot. He cannot.
Yes, he can.
You're ridiculous. So, okay, which one are you getting rid of? You never told.
I'm getting rid of Quavo.
Oh.
Get Quavo out of
That's
there.
embarrassing.
All right. Who would you choose?
Yachty's gone. Yachty's gone. He's not very talented. He's a young kid.
Dare.
He's not talented.
Don't you dare.
Quavo has done it, man. He's put the Migos on the map, and obviously Drake's the number one of all time. He's the GOAT.
God,
When you put out fire after fire after fire, you're the GOAT. Lil Wayne is top 5, maybe number 6 in my opinion. Him and Kanye slide in and out of that.
Who's number 2?
Stop. That's Tupac. But
we'll
go.
Overrated.
Yachty is gone. I'm keeping Quavo. I'm keeping Drake, and I'm keeping Wayne. So now you give a Gots to Go list, and we'll decide.
All right. So I'm gonna go with some fast food restaurants. Okay?
Fast food restaurants. Let's go. We are from Texas. We eat a lot of fast food, but we're both skinny right now. But let's keep it going.
So we're gonna go number 1. We're gonna go with Whataburger. Okay.
Okay.
Number 2, some good old Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Just ate some Chick-fil-A about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
I hate that place.
Then we're gonna go. You hate it.
Just keep going with yours.
We're gonna go with Wendy's.
Okay.
At number 3.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go with McDonald's at number 4.
Ooh. Oh,
and
so you're telling me I have to pick one of those that I can never eat for the rest of my life?
Never, ever.
And the other 3 I'm keeping. Whataburger is the best thing Texas has to offer, fast food-wise. They have everything on the menu you can think of. That is a lock for sure. Chick-fil-A, as you explained, we just ate that. I love Chick-fil-A. It's probably my favorite chicken spot besides Raising Cane's, and I'm keeping Chick-fil-A. So you bring me down to Wendy's and to McDonald's. That is tough, man. Growing up, Mom never let me eat McDonald's. I was never a big fan of McDonald's chicken nuggets. I never got to eat them. I love the Wendy's Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. I was growing up on that. I'm a big cheeseburger guy over anything. So I'm going to have to say McDonald's. You are gone, and I am keeping Wendy's. I know a lot of people are yelling at me right now, but, dude, McDonald's, a little bit overrated,
The dollar
we're kind of eating plastic when we eat McDonald's. I'm not saying I don't eat McDonald's now as a 20-year-old guy, but, like, back growing up, it was never a fan favorite of mine.
It's so cheap, though.
So cheap. I mean, I used to get McChickens for 3 of them for $3, dude. And I love McChickens, but it kind of tastes like plastic nowadays. Now that I've actually had some higher quality food, and McDonald's.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed as I've gotten older is that all their food tastes the exact same. Just tastes like grease.
Grease, right?
Their fries.
It's just oil.
Their fries just taste like grease. It's nasty.
Yeah, the fries are kind of good, though, actually.
Whataburger fries.
Whataburger fries.
Best fries on the market.
Number 2 behind Chick-fil-A. The waffle fry, that's number 1 in my book. So that's a little bit of Gots to Go. We will bring that to y'all every podcast. But let's move on, man, back to the sports world. Where are we going to move in next? Do you know what our run sheet is?
Yep, I do. So,
no, you don't, because I'm gonna drop a bomb on you, though.
Oh, all right.
It might not be a bomb. You might actually know where I'm going with this. Maybe not. But we're going to do our top 10 power rankings to end this podcast. Our very first podcast ever.
Yep, all right.
So the NFL is in full swing. It's week 14, going into week 14, I believe. And we're going to rank the top 10 teams as of right now in the NFL. We'll start the bottom 5 of the top 10, and then we'll work our way to number 1. Yeah. So I'll let you go first on this one.
All right, so bottom 5.
Mm-hmm. So number 10 in the league.
At number 10, the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh.
That front 7 is real scary.
Yes, they are.
Run defense is a huge part of the league right now. A lot of teams rely heavily on their running game. Not many teams rely heavy on the pass game right now. A few are, maybe the Patriots, the Falcons, the Chargers at some points, unless Melvin Gordon can get going, but usually he starts off slow.
No Richard Sherman, no Cam Chancellor. Let's not forget that.
That's the one downside to that team. That's why I rank them so low, is because the pass defense, as of late, has shown that they can keep it up.
Like them at number 10.
Yeah. So at number 9, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Nice.
That defense is a problem for teams.
Huge,
but the offense is just garbage. I mean, hot, stinky garbage. It's gross. So at number 8, we're going with the Atlanta Falcons. You got a problem with that?
Ew.
Okay.
I have a huge problem with that, but I'll let you explain why you like them.
The offense, definitely high powered. When Devontae Freeman can get it going, I know he's been a little slow start off the year. Had that concussion a few weeks back, but I know he's getting back on the field, and I know he's hungry.
Julio's not a number one receiver.
Julio is the number one receiver in the league.
He is a number one, not the number one.
Three 250-yard games, only player ever to do that. Can't argue that.
Ouch.
Matt Ryan hasn't been in MVP form, but he's definitely picked it up as of late.
Gotcha.
So that's why
they're at 8 for you?
That's why I got them at number 8.
Gotcha.
At number 7, the Carolina Panthers.
I like that pick right there.
That defense, real young, but has definitely shown up. Luke Kuechly, best middle linebacker in football.
Agreed.
Cam Newton, roller coaster ride of a quarterback, but when he's at his high, they're almost an unbeatable offense.
Show you right.
Christian McCaffrey, definitely a great pickup. So
great weapon to add to Carolina.
I like them at 7.
Got you.
And at 6, the New Orleans Saints. They took an L to the Los Angeles Rams.
They did
last week.
A big L.
But one thing that has shown every week in and out is that Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram are the best running back duo in the league right now.
They can carry you to the playoffs for sure.
Absolutely. But that defense, once they get some points taken on them, they really just kind of lose their heads, and it's a really snowball effect. So if they start off good, they're going to have a good game. If they start off bad, it's going to be a shootout.
I agree. Not bad, little cuz. So I'll start with my number 10 team in the NFL. This was not this way before the game last night, but the Dallas Cowboys come in at number 10 for me.
Wow.
They were at number 15 before last night, but when the defense plays how they did against the Washington Redskins, when Dez is clicking on all cylinders, when Alfred Morris is running, and we're going to get Zeke back, I have a feeling that they can stay at number 10.
So you don't want to see them do it for a few more weeks?
I don't.
One more week
I know what they are, man. These last 3 weeks, that's not who they are. The last 3 weeks of us getting blown out are not who we are. So I don't like that.
Okay.
I have them at number 10. At number 9, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. As did you.
Yeah.
I don't believe in Blake Bortles, but I believe in great defense. But they'll get deep into the AFC playoffs, maybe like second or third round.
Yeah, one team you can compare them to is really back in the day when the Baltimore Ravens were all defense.
In the early 2000s.
Joe Flacco, very average quarterback, but that defense is keeping them in games.
I was even going further back into like the Ray Lewis days in early 2000.
Yeah.
But you're talking about 2012 when they won the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, who is the most average quarterback ever to win a Super Bowl is Joe Flacco. So I have Jacksonville at number 9. Number 8 is Carolina Panthers. Like you said, Cam Newton is a huge roller coaster, but when Cam Newton is clicking, he is top 6 to 7 quarterback in the league. I'm not going to give him top 5, but he's top 6 or 7. When he's clicking, that defense, badass. They're going to carry them to the playoffs as they do every year. At number, I believe, 6, or I'm at 7, sorry, excuse me. At number 7, I have the LA Chargers, man, who you didn't even have in your top 10.
No,
I'm offended.
Didn't.
What they did to the Dallas Cowboys, they embarrassed the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day on national television with the great defense. Phillip Rivers is playing some of the best football I've ever seen, and they're going to continue to ride Phillip Rivers deep into the AFC playoff. Don't sleep on the LA Chargers. Watch out for them in that defense. Don't sleep. And at number 6, the bottom half of my 10, New Orleans Saints. Like you said, Drew Brees is still playing at an elite level, even though he's getting up there in age. The defense is carrying them. When have we ever said that about a Saints team, ever?
It's been a real long time.
It's been a super long. I can't even think back. Besides that 2009 year where they beat your boy Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. I watched that
Second
live.
greatest quarterback of all time.
Not even close. But
okay.
Drew Brees is playing awesome this year. And like you said, Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, the rookie from Tennessee, he is taking over that team. So that's my bottom 5. So I'll let you reveal your top 4, and then we'll save number 1 for last.
All right. So number 5, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ouch.
You don't like that one?
Not at all.
Well, I'm going to keep them there because that offense has shown that they can be shut down at times. And when they do, the defense really, they play good, but not good enough to win them the game. So at number 4, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota.
Yeah.
Case Keenum playing out of his mind right now. Definitely playing like a top 5 quarterback in the league. That defense also tremendous.
Scary.
Great pass
Scary
defense,
good.
great rush defense. It's all around great team. At number 3, we have the Los Angeles Rams.
I like that one.
After they just handed New Orleans just
a big L.
A big ass L. They definitely took care of business there. Jared Goff is playing more like a 6-year quarterback, not a second-year quarterback. Todd Gurley, one of the more elusive running backs in the game. At number 2, the New England Patriots. That's where I'm going to put them.
All right. Why is that?
That defense has grown every week, allowing less and less points per game. And Tom Brady is just being Tom Brady. The short, methodical passes, the run game has come into effect. Rex Burkhead, Deion Lewis.
Carrying the team this year.
The team.
And Brady can still hit you for a 30-yard gain when he wants to.
Absolutely.
All righty. So those are your your top 4.
Yep.
So we'll save number 1 for last. But I will give you my top 4. I have at number 5 in the league, I have the L.A. Rams.
Okay.
I believe in Jared Goff. He's proving why he went number 1 overall. I believe in Todd Gurley, and I believe in the defense led by Alec Ogletree.
So before the Rams and New Orleans played,
I would have had New Orleans first and Rams. I would have had New Orleans at number 5 and the Rams at 6. I flip-flop them just because the Rams proved they're a better team as of right now against New Orleans. So that's the Rams at 5. I got Minnesota at 4, as did you did. I have Case Keenum carrying the team as a third string, but he's not all the pressure's on him. The pressure's on the defense to keep the opposing offense off the field, and they're doing that. Case Keenum is just being a bus driver. He's throwing it to Adam Thielen, who is leading the league in receptions out of nowhere, and they have a number 1 receiver in Stephon Diggs who can take over whenever he wants.
Yeah, and Latavius Murray in that backfield is definitely one of the biggest additions that they had.
They lost AP, and they get him.
And Dalvin Cook. They lose Dalvin Cook, so...
All right, I have Minnesota at 4. At number 3, I have the Philadelphia Eagles, our arch rivals. Carson Wentz is the real deal. I hate to say that, but he's better than Dak Prescott. He's really good. He's showing out. He is carrying a great defense to a 9-2 record, I believe.
Yeah.
So they're showing out. I have to put him at number 3. At my number 2 team, I have the New England Patriots with Tom Brady up there in age at 40. He's still showing out.
You think the Patriots are better than the Eagles?
I do. I think if they played in the Super Bowl this year, New England would beat the Patriots. I do.
Okay.
Just based on Tom Brady's
history?
His history, man. He showed defenses never can really stop Brady, no matter how good they did against every other team. Bill Belichick figures out defenses. He figures out a way to score points, as we've seen every Super Bowl. And at number 1, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Hands down the best roster, 1 through 53.
Just to update you, I had him at 5. So
we have the number 1 receiver. I say we. I'm in the closet Steeler fans, but I grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan. But my second favorite team in the AFC is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have them as the best team with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Big Ben performing at high levels, Garrett. I don't see anybody stopping them besides maybe Tom Brady, who is my number 2. So I had 2 AFC teams before I have an NFC team. So I see that as the AFC Championship is going to be my Super Bowl. Whoever wins that, I see them winning the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So that has been an edition of the Big 3 podcast.
I still have my number 1.
Oh my gosh, I'm skipping you.
Yeah.
My bad. I just want to end the show without you getting your number 1. But go ahead.
So at number 1, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. As much as it hurts to say, as a Cowboys fan, they're playing great football.
Yeah, I just can't do it, but I can't argue with that.
They can't. As of late, they can't be stopped.
I will say they will choke though.
2 early losses before Carson Wentz was in MVP form, before they got that defense together.
And he is playing like an MVP.
But now they're in full swing.
It'll be great to see when they choke in the NFC Championship game. Can't wait.
Know about that one.
And maybe lose to Dak Prescott in the NFC Championship game if we can get there. If we can get there. So this has been the first podcast of the Big 3. I appreciate everybody listening, as does my cousin Garrett. And we will be bringing you more episodes weekly. Thank you for listening.